Kia ora, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Black Jersey. My name is Max and I'm the host of this channel. Today's topic is going to be on the first Rugby World Cup match that the Black Ferns had for their pool stage, and it was against the Wallaroos. Thank you very much to everyone who's returning to the channel, and thank you to my patrons for the constant support. I'm sure a lot of you guys enjoyed this match very much, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyse how all the tries were scored, what shifted the momentum of the match. I'm going to look over some match stats, and I'm going to break down how everything happened at stage by stage, pretty much in a chronological order, so let's get right into this. I'll need to give Australian rugby credit for the first time since the Wallabies beat England earlier this year, because the Wallaroos made a strong start to the game, with Arabella McKenzie making a clever quick tap after the Black Ferns concede the penalty. McKenzie, having played for Matatu in Super Rugby Aupiki, knows the game habits of 9 players in the Black Ferns match day 23, so uses this to her team's advantage. The selection of McKenzie at 10 was a masterstroke, a perfect counter to the opposition. As Mackenzie's pass drifts down to the next player, we notice that 4 Wallaroos are realistic outside options to receive the pass, which is currently going wide to Friedrichs. The Black Ferns, however, are incredibly compressed, having expected the line out, with 4 of their defenders marking just 2 of the Wallaroos. As Friedrichs makes the pass out wide, we notice that BN Tarita on the right wing is completely unmarked. With Amy du Plessis in a realistic position to mark Friedrichs, Portia Woodman and Renee Holmes have been caught far too far away from the touchline. By the time Tarita receives the pass, Holmes is however in position, having read the move, with Woodman on Holmes' inside channel rather than Holmes' outside channel though. Holmes is forced to hesitate and tackles too high. Because Woodman was caught out of position and hasn't run onto the wing with enough pace, she's then forced to make a second tackle from side on. Side on tackles don't normally work though, and this allows the 19-year-old to score Australia's first try of the tournament. The second try that the Wallaroos scored was probably thanks to the Black Ferns. We see Ruby Tui over here on the wing with 2 defenders in front of her, while Ruahei Demont is on Tui's outside. Because Demont is not a winger, she's running a little bit too flat and not wide enough. This allows Ivania Wong to apply pressure and mark both Black Ferns. What Tui should do is take the ball into contact, as we can see. Australia don't have any realistic jackling options for a turnover. Meanwhile, Kendra Coxedge is the player on Tui's left, meaning Coxedge would be able to pass quickly off the base of the breakdown. However, Tui passes to Demont, and with Demont on the back foot, the ball falls off Demont's elbow, which allows Wong, who is on the front foot, to sprint in, catch the ball before she runs off for 60 metres to score the Wallaroos' second try. The Wallaroos' third try came in the 28th minute, putting the Black Ferns behind by 17 unanswered points. Wayne Smith has just been a little bit furious about this to the media. A few articles that are out there about how he's not very happy with this wee score margin that the Black Ferns were behind by. As Australia have front foot ball thanks to genuine dominance from their pack, Eliseva Batibasanga goes wide to McKenzie. We can see Ruahei Demont pointing to the direction that Batibasanga will go. Demont knows McKenzie will likely go wide, and in combination with Amy du Plessis as a possible ruck clearance option, the 2 sprint forward to stop Australia's ball at source. Stacey Flula, however, falls for the dummy line by Shani Williams. This forces Woodman to defend from a far narrower channel again. Woodman's extensive time in sevens has clearly done harm to her otherwise excellent defensive reading, which leaves Renee Holmes isolated out wide, marking 2 defenders. Woodman does come across to mark Pauline Pillai, but as we freeze frame, we can see the damage has already been done. Holmes, who is just 77 kgs, is marking Tarita, who weighs 85 kgs, from side on. Because Holmes is in a side on position again, Tarita is able to step between the two defenders, dragging both Woodman and Holmes over the try line with her. The isolation of Holmes out wide is clearly tactical on Australia's part, as they know she is lighter than two of the Wallaroos starting backs, giving them the advantage of strength out wide. Under any normal circumstances, this is pretty much game over, and the Wallaroos started the game absolutely fantastically, so for once I'm going to give credit to an Australian team. You could really see the change in mental toughness from the Black Ferns this year compared to last year though. I've previously spoken very extensively on the team's cohesion built by Wayne Smith. He's taken a very similar approach to Warren Gatland when it comes to rebuilding teams. He's got a bunch of players with experience together from other selections and other teams. This way he can have a cohesive team altogether. The Australian forwards were able to bully the Black Ferns up front. They just did not have the fitness to sustain this dominance. So yes, you kind of need to get that going throughout the full 80 if you want to put on a big scoreline. The mental toughness is also gone with the genuine fitness that I was talking about. Wayne Smith has done a fantastic job with that, as I've learned from the players. By this point in the match, the Black Ferns had made 64 tackles compared to the Wallaroos 17 tackles. The Black Ferns had actually made 42% of all tackles they made in the entire match by the 21st minute. As we can see, they attempted a total of 153 compared to the Wallaroos 163. Possession rates actually ended up being quite similar towards the end of the match as well, and this is the difference where we can really see that fitness difference I was talking about. Territory though, 83% for Australia in the first half. That was massive, so the Black Ferns fitness once again helped out a lot with that match stat. While I will admit here the scrum was a bit of a shocker, as we can see for the Black Ferns, everything that I've discussed here is very positive for the team. It shows that they've really learned and they've gelled together, and now England, what they have to do if they want to win the World Cup is match the Black Ferns for fitness. There's so many good things I've got to say about the Black Ferns now, so we're going to head over to their attack and deconstruct how they made this incredible comeback. Beginning their route back into the game, the Black Ferns were able to score a close-range try, courtesy of Joanna Nganwu in the 31st minute, before the game opened up for Portia Woodman and Ruby Tui to unleash their attacking prowess. As we can see in the 35th minute, Bati Basanga is passing backwards so the Wallaroos can make a clearance kick. As this happens, the Wallaroos have just 3 players standing on the open side of the pitch, while the Black Ferns have 4 forwards in this area. We then cut to another freeze frame and see the Wallaroos are short on numbers out wide due to 4 of their backs being on the blind side of the pitch. We can subsequently see the Black Ferns retreating towards the open side in order to form an attacking pattern as the kick is airborne. Ruby Tui catches the ball, it does not find touch, while there are 4 fellow Black Ferns in frame as she takes off on a run. Tui passes to Holmes, who has a 3-on-2 to unlock, as the Wallaroos have a defender in the backfield. Dumont is able to step Fredericks before offloading from the grounds to Tui, who is wrapped around from the blind side so that the Black Ferns are still able to maintain their 3-on-2 advantage while Dumont is down. Holmes pops up again and is able to work the ball to Woodman, who is outside Pillai, a tackler that is side on. Woodman gives Australia a taste of their own medicine to beat 3 defenders as she scores just 5 minutes after Nganwu. Woodman was able to score her brace in the 47th minute, making the most of an overlap again. Amy Rule of all players has to step in at halfback with Kendra Coxedge unavailable, but thanks to cohesion and trust built in the Matatu Super Rugby team, Rule listens to those outside her and goes wide. With Connor and Nganwu not too far away from the breakdown, available as carriers, Australia have not bothered to defend too wide. They've assumed that Connor will crash the ball up midfield and have Duplessis and Nganwu to clean the ruck alongside Rule. overall. We can also see 5 Black Ferns on the blind side of the pitch. The Wallaroos are perhaps thinking these players will be the next set of carriers, considering 3 of these 5 Black Ferns are in a pod together. Connor, however, passes to Ngan Wu, who is deceptively quick for a lock. As Ngan Wu gets the ball, Australia know exactly what to do, but have used the same defence passions the Black Ferns used previously in the first half, and they're caught out by it pretty major. Ngan Wu probably should have passed right after crossing the 22-metre line, as we can see. Woodman homes it outside Ngan Wu for a 2-on-1 against the Wallaroos defence line. Ngan Wu passes late, however, in order to force the Australian defence to remain in a side-on position. With all 3 Australian defenders in a side-on position, the try is on regardless of whether Woodman correctly passes to Holmes or goes herself. She drags Tarita over the try line and is over to equal the scoreline. With all this momentum, you think the Black Ferns have pretty much got the win in the bag, they're going to make the comeback and everything, but the Wallaroos then decide to get 2 yellow cards and accelerate the big win that is now inevitably on the way. Woodman is able to score a 3rd try, but before that happens, Afina Tanjin Wainohu is able to get a try in just her 3rd test match. How outstanding is that? In the 61st minute, we can see Australia are still down to the 13 players, and the Black Ferns are able to punish them for it. With the numbers in their favour, they're able to run a pretty simple hands down the line play where Stacey Fleuler quite frankly throws an insane offload towards Woodman. Their time together in sevens has created a clear knowing of where the other is at all times, and as I come back to this cohesion, it's been massive for Wayne Smith's Black Ferns, and Woodman has a hat-trick. To finish off the match, it's Ruby Tui's turn to get scoring. With Wayne Smith's unbelievable fitness drills, the Black Ferns still have the energy to carry hard in the 68th minute, while it's visibly clear that the Wallaroos are fatigued. After the forwards make it to 5 metres out from the try line, Arahiana Marino Tohinu is ready to put the exclamation mark on a stunning victory as she goes wide. Ruahei Dumont has called a move to get 3 attackers up against 2 defenders, and Ruby Tui is able to score a pretty simple try from here. Tui's 2nd try makes us see the clear fatigue from the Wallaroos in the 74th minute as Chelsea Bremner faces plenty of defenders. A smart dummy line by Maya Roos is able to engage 2 of them, which turns a 5-on-3 into an even 3-on-3. With Wong incredibly deep in the defensive pattern, Bremner passes to Dumont, knowing that she and Roos will be able to block 2 defenders from tackling Tui, who is on Dumont's inside. This is clearly a pre-rehearsed training move designed to catch an opponent off guard. Dumont is on the back foot, which allows for Wong and Morgan to remain in the backfield, marking Liana Mikaeli-Tu'u. Because Mikaeli-Tu'u is on the wing, she appears set to clean the ruck after Dumont is tackled. The Wallaroos assume the Black Ferns are just going to recycle the ball. But because Wong and Morgan remain in the backfield, they have to turn around into a side-on position as Tui collects Dumont's offload and makes a clean break. As we've all learned by this point throughout 2022, side-on tackles do not work in the highest levels of rugby. Ruby Tui proves so, and she scores the final try of the game, confirming herself as player of the match. There was an absolutely outstanding match for both teams, I actually want to say. If the Wallaroos can get their fitness up, they could actually be contenders for the next World Cup. They've come a long way since the start of this season, where they were looking a little bit unorganised, a little bit disjointed, not really knowing whose role was in what position of the field, things like that, just those basic things about being a team and all that. The Black Ferns, their confidence has increased so much, and this was an awesome way to celebrate the highest ever attendance for a women's rugby match. I enjoyed this game so much, so make sure to comment your thoughts on the game, comment your thought on the World Cup, and swing that poi to support women's rugby. Thank you very much for watching the video, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to visit me over on Patreon if you really enjoy my content. Or if you want to just make a one-off donation, it's okay. I've got a PayPal tip jar. You can also visit me on Instagram and Twitter to see my other content. And most of all, thank you very much for viewing. Like this video, subscribe to me, and I will catch you next time. Go the mighty Black Ferns. Cheers for watching.